Hello and welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. I'm Rita, and today I bring to you the third class of our March online card classes. Today what I wanted to share with you are two Easter cards that I made for the class. And so let's just go ahead and get to it. So for the very first card that I want to make, I want to share with you all the ingredients that I used. And this is also a card that if you make your $35 purchase in my online store between today and next Wednesday evening, that you will get this card kit and the second card kit for free. You'll get enough ingredients to make two of each card. So let's go ahead and make the first card today. And what I did is I started out with a A2 size card base. It is out of the Blushing Bride cardstock. And of course we know that this A2 size card base started out with a 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of Blushing Bride, and I simply cut that in half at the 5.5 inch mark, and then rotated the cardstock, and then scored it at 4 1/4, which gave me this piece. And then once I secured that fold, then I have this card base. Now I did take a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white cardstock, and I inserted that in the inside. This would be where you would put your message or personal message or another sentiment, and you can definitely decorate it. I'm leaving mine blank because I'm not sure who I'm going to give it to. And this card I'm doing right now with you just for demonstration purposes. But do know that when you insert your basic white onto your colored cardstock, that once it is adhered, it is either extremely difficult or messy to pull it up if you don't get your sentiment stamped the way you want it or your message. So my tip for you is to go ahead and stamp your sentiment or write your message, and then adhere it to the inside. Now we're going to continue here. I did want to just encourage you to comment, let me know you're watching, where you're watching from, and then of course those thumbs up and hearts are very appreciated. The first layer, or the very bottom layer, I chose to use a piece of basic white cardstock. This is not the thick, this is the basic white, and it measures 4 by 5 1/4. And then on top of that, I'm going to layer a piece of basic black cardstock. This measures 3 3/4 by 5, and I often use black as a layer because it really does make the other colors in my card pop. So I'm going to adhere that, trying to get an even margin on all 4 sides, and that's about 1/8 inch margin. I'm also going to take a piece of Designer Series paper that measures 3 1/2 by 2 inches. This particular piece of Designer Series paper comes from the online, this comes from the In Color package of Designer Series paper. It comes to you in a 6 by 6 sheets in the package. This happens to be the Parakeet Party, and I am going to layer that right up here at the top of my black layer. And what I like about this designer series paper is that one side normally will come with a print, and then the other side is more of a subtle print, or one side could be used for a specific theme, and the other side is something that you could use all year round. All right, the other thing that I want to use, or the other element that I want to put at the bottom of this card, is this DIY designer series paper. And by that I mean I took my masks. This is called the Loveliest Layer decorative masks, and I took the big mask, and I used it and my blending brushes along with various inks. Now those ink colors I'm going to be using throughout the class today. That's Balmy Blue, Highland Heather, Flirty Flamingo, Blushing Bride, So Saffron, and Garden Green. And I used my blending brushes to create these lines of different color. I really do love this mask. I like the masks in general. They're more commonly called stencils. But what I like about them is they're a very good price point, and they can be used as a focal point or even as a decorative element in your cards. Now you could use any colors if you wanted a different theme. So for Christmas, obviously you'd use traditional Christmas colors, but you could adapt it to any event or theme that you wanted. Now I'm going to adhere this to the bottom there, just below the parakeet party. I do want to give a little bit of a separation between the two pieces of designer series paper, and I do need to look at this in a different way so that I can make sure it's straight. And I like the liquid glue because it gives you a little bit of time to manipulate those layers. Now let's go ahead and put these layers on our card base, and then we're going to decorate the front of our card. So if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and let me know you're watching on the replay, and also let me know how you feel about those masks. You can definitely comment in the comment section below. That would be great. And if you're watching on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. Now, what I wanted to do, and what I was thinking about when I was creating this card, is that I wanted like bunnies or eggs or something that is very familiar or does instill the Easter theme. And so I don't have a bunny punch, and I am not happy with myself because I didn't order the Easter stamp set or the bundle in time, and then the bunny punch is unavailable. And so I'm not happy with myself, but that's what happened. So I have to adapt. What I did is I took my layering circle dies. This is giving me a hard time. I took my layering circle dies, and I used the smallest circle die, and I cut a circle, and then I cut it in half. I'm going to put that half circle right here because what I'm trying to create is the illusion of a bunny. Peeking out over the what would maybe be a ledge or something created by that black part there. And then I thought, well, I need bunny ears, right? So how could I do that? And what I did was I took my Splendid Stamps dies, because I remembered that there was this particular die that reminded me of floppy bunny ears. And so what I did is I just put it in my embossing and die cutting machine, and I just, I only needed half of this die cut, and then the pieces that I was looking for were this piece and this piece. So once I cut it, then I just cut those and adjusted them. Now I see that I may have lost one of the ears, but here's what they look like once they're cut. And so what I did was I took also my this is Calypso Coral. I took my blender marker, and I just gave that an inner ear into the ear that I cut there. And I am so sorry. I'm looking to see if perhaps I just misplaced that other ear. I will show you if it, oh, here it is. Okay, and so then this is the ear that I cut from one of, from that same die to make it look like a long ear. So let's go ahead and place these. I want to place these before I place that half circle because I'm going to stick it underneath. So let's see here. We'll just go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on here. And then I'll know right where I want this circle also. So we'll just pull this up. That's the floppy ear I'm trying to create. And then we're going to do the same with this other ear. I want it to look like the long ear. And if you have something that you can use that creates the same sort of image, then by all means use it. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this half circle. Make sure that this does not go too low there onto the black. And then I'll put my half circle. And there I have something that looks like a bunny peeking his head up over that ledge. And so you'll get all these parts. I'll go ahead and die cut those little floppy ears, but certainly if you want to substitute when you get your card kit, you certainly can, of course. And this is something that obviously you're going to need to pick up in my online store, but do know that you can use any color that you have in your inventory. And then I will send you this oval, which is the sentiment part of the card. I can't send you any stamped images, but you definitely can use any Easter sentiment you want. And I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensionals on here because I want this to be elevated. And I'm going to put it right here. And you can put yours really wherever you want. This is where I felt that I liked it. And so I just, and I did stamp Happy Easter. So I did want to talk about that, even though I can't send you a stamped image. I did want to tell you that this Celebrating You stamp set is so perfect for so many occasions. You could use the sentiments for Father's Day, Mother's Day, Easter, anniversary, congratulations, welcoming a baby, thinking of someone. So this really covers all of those special times. It's a great stamp set to have in your inventory. It does cost $24, so you would be a little more than halfway for your $35 purchase, which would mean that I'd be sending you these card kits. So did that, and then I took my glue dots and I wanted to use the glue dots so that I could attach this bow. Now this is a double bow, and I did use some twine. This is the Sweet Sorbet color of twine, It's actually white and it's variegated. It's white and sweet sorbet. Now I did just get, when I was touching this glue dot, I did get one on my thumb, and so I did already place it on this bow. This is a double bow, and I did use about 16 inches to make the bow. I will send you some twine in your kit. I may just, yeah, I'll just send the twine and you can make your own bow. So you may not want a double bow. Maybe you want a single bow. But then I just placed it there. And looking at my card, I still felt like there was something missing. So I looked for what we call bling, which is an embellishment, right? And first I grabbed the Fire Sparkle Adhesive Gems, but these colors really didn't do anything for me. As far as the card goes, I wanted something that would stand out. So I did grab my adhesive backed hexagons, and I felt like they would embellish my card. And so what I do a lot is I will take the corner that maybe looks a little lonely, and I will go ahead and place the gems or dots that I want right there. If you make your $50 purchase in my online store within the week, then I will send you a package of the hexagons, and then you can use them for this card and others to come. So, great embellishment. I like these just because they're different colors, and that black really makes that card pop, in my opinion. All right, so this is the card, and you will get all of the ingredients to make this card in your kit when you make that purchase. Now, stick with me because I have some other cards that I want to share with you. At least one more that's going to be in your kit. And we're going to begin that card right now. So I did take another piece of basic white cardstock. This is half a sheet, but obviously I cut it the long way. And then I did score it at 5.5. So I cut it with the 8.5 inch side at the top and at the bottom in my trimmer. I cut it at 4 1/4, and then I scored this at 5.5. And I'll give you a little tip. What I like to do when even though I've scored the card, I don't feel like it's very scored, so I am going to do that again. What I like to do is to make sure when I'm securing that fold, is I like to make sure that when I'm folding it, that all the edges are flush with each other. So what I'll do is I'll take this, I'll move this so you can see it. I'll take the card and make sure that it's flush here in the corner. I'll bring the other edge in, and I'll just go ahead and fold it. And then, of course, with my bone folder, I'll go ahead and secure that fold. And so that way I have a nice A2 size card. This is top folding, and I know that all my edges are flush. Okay, so you'll need an A2 size card base, and then the next element is a layer that I used my scallop dies with. Now, I have to tell you that I use these dies all the time. You know, that's one of the things that I think about when I make a purchase is how much can I use, or how often, or how valuable as far as use will this item be. And I use it all the time. So if you look at my cards, you'll see that it's something that I repeat over and over. So for me, this was a great purchase. I did use for this card, I did use the largest scallop die, but you get different sizes and you can make frames with them. You can make Senate strips. This just offers so many opportunities to, you know, make your card special. So you will get a scallop piece like this in your card kit. The thing is I'm using Just Jade for this class, but I will be sending you soft succulent. So the color of your layer will be soft succulent. Now the other thing that you need is you need a piece of basic white cardstock. Again, this is going to fit right in here in the scallop. And this is started out to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock, but you're going to have to cut it down. This is like 3 3/8 by a little over by 5. And so what I did is I didn't want just white on here, right? I wanted some color. And when I think about Easter, I think about eggs and bunnies and jelly beans and grass and chicks and rabbits. I think about flowers that bloom in the spring. So I thought, well, I'm going to do some eggs, but I had a conundrum, and that is I didn't have any egg shapes to use to decorate my card with. So what I did is I took an oval die that I had and I made a template or stencil. I will send you one. It won't have all the ink on here, obviously. But what I did was I layered this on my card, and I, again, took my blending brushes and the colors of inks, like the Balmy Blue, the Flirty Flamingo, the Blushing Bride, the So Saffron, the Garden Green, and the Highland Heather. And I colored each one of these eggs a different color. And of course, I did leave the space here because that's going to be for my sentiment. And I already did this because you don't need to watch me color each one of these or ink up with my blending brushes each one of these. And this is what it looks like in the end. And I will tell you that that you will have to cut it down if you use that 4 1/4 by 5. And I already told you that measurement, which is 3 3/8 by 5. Now let's go ahead and adhere this to that scalloped layer. What are your favorite spring colors? Let me know in the comment section below. And again, just quickly, I don't remember if I reminded you, but if you're watching via YouTube, then consider subscribing to my channel and hit that bell icon so that you'll be notified of any new content that I upload. All right, and so we're going to adhere this on here. Let's go ahead and put it on our card. Now here is another, this is what the, sorry, wrong one. This is another designer series paper that you can use, and then I did just toss this to the side, but this is what in the first card, this is what that designer series paper looked like before I cut it. Now, this is drying, so that's kind of what I was going for. We're going to go ahead and adhere it right on here. And you can use any adhesive that you want. I am using the liquid glue because it does give me that time to make sure that my card is how I want it. So it dries quickly, but not so quickly that you can't manipulate your card layers. All right, so then I decided I knew I wanted to use this part here for a sentiment. And I was thinking there's a lot of color, but it really is a very flat card. So what I did was I looked in my stash for a piece of designer series paper that would go with these colors, that would be soft but still a color. So I took my layering circles and I cut a circle. This is about a 2-inch circle. So if you have the 2-inch punch, you could definitely use that as well. But you can also use your layering circles. And that is another item that I use a lot in my studio. I like the circles because they make, I don't even, this is how I store them because I use them, I'm grabbing for them all the time. So I should put them on a magnet backing, but I can't tell you why I haven't. But in any case, I use them all the time. And they come in different sizes, so you can make frames from them. Just a great thing to have in your craft room. So that is about a 2-inch circle there. Also, I cut the smallest die, circle die, and this is going to be where I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And so what I'm thinking was, what sentiment did I want to stamp? Again, this stamp set that I shared with you, the Celebrating You, is perfect. The Happy Easter will work quite well, and that's what we're going to use today. And again, I'm sharing with you that I won't be sending you any stamped images, but by all means, I would invest, if I were you, in a good stamp set that you can use all around. Now, I was thinking I wanted to use the Highland Heather, but I'll tell you that sometimes when we want to create a great sentiment, sometimes a darker color, for me anyway, fits the bill. So I'm going to take my Gorgeous Grape instead of the Highland Heather, and I'm going to ink up my stamp. And I'm going to try to get it in the middle here, so I'll move this down so I can attempt to get it in the middle. And so there we go. There is my sentiment. And I'll go ahead and I'll adhere this onto the circle here. My ink is, my adhesive is settling at the bottom because obviously I haven't turned it upside down. I'll go ahead and put this in the middle. I'll use my dimensionals again to give it some dimension. And just keep in mind, you don't have to use dimensionals. You could use foam tape if you wanted to. You could even stack it. A lot of times I'll do 2 or 3 times the circle just to give it a little bit of elevation. But the dimensionals are super easy, and they also offer stability because when your card goes through the postal, when it goes through the machine at the post office, it can get mangled. So just make sure you have enough dimension on here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this right here in the middle. And one of the reasons I chose the circle was because everything else is a different shape, and I just thought I would do that. Now, I am also going to put a ribbon because even though I think that this looks nice, I think it needs something else, and so a ribbon would give it that little thing that gives it some pizzazz, I guess. And then I will put a glue dot on the back here of the ribbon. And I will, in your kit, you will get this ribbon. You can, if you're creating your own, you can use any colors you want, of course. All right, so we have created that very nice card. Now, you can decorate the inside with, when you put your sentiment, you could do some more eggs and use that stencil. That would be a fun thing to do if you wanted to. So there's card number 2. I'm going to go ahead and put it with the envelope. Let's see. And then here was card number 1. So these are the 2 cards that you would get in your kit when you make your $35 purchase. Again, remember, when you make a $50 or more before shipping and handling, you get the embellishments. So also, I wanted to share with you some other cards which are not included in any kit, but I did just want to share them with you. And here is a card that I made using that same egg process and the bunny. I just used different colors, and so you can see how they might change using different colors. I did give the bunny a little bit of a face here, whereas I didn't here. And I did that because I felt I was using a lot of Flirty Flamingo and Blushing Bride, and I needed some color on there, so that's why I did that. And then I took the other egg idea, and this is also on basic white. I used the Scallop Contour dies. Like I said, I use it all the time. On a very light, this is like a gingham, a purple, almost pink gingham. And it just offers a little bit of interest on my card. It isn't something that pops up at you, but it does soften the card. And then I used some designer series paper from the Dandy Designs that was in the Celebration catalog. So I just used that. I made a rectangle here and just, you know, backed it up with some garden green, and then just put it catty corner. So these are two ovals, and these ovals I had from when I used the framed floret dies. Now those framed floret dies are awesome because you have several different sizes of ovals that you can get. You can get like the framed ones. There are some that are indented. They come textured. But this was the middle part of one of them. So I used some old designer series paper that I had in my stash. I took some basic white. And then I took my basic border dies. And I'm hoping I have them here. And I just used the ones that look like, I think they look like Rick Rack. So I might be dating myself, but as I was growing up, Rick Rack was like something that you added to decorate when you were sewing or making your clothes. You added that to decorate your garment. And so here is the one I used. Here is the other one I used. And I just did that to decorate that egg because just a white egg was too much. And then I used the pastel pearls to decorate the inside. And then of course, if you have stickles, they're great for decorating also and for embellishing. The thing with the stickles though is you want to allow that time for it to dry because it does take a while to dry, and so you want to be stacking stuff on the top. But the basic borders were an excellent way to decorate that egg. And then on the inside, I used the basic borders again to decorate the bottom of the inside. And then, of course, you could write your message and put your sentiment as well. So those are some of the Easter cards that I made for you today. And I do want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. I hope that I've offered some ideas to you, and definitely I appreciate your business as you shop at my online store. And as soon as I see your order, I'll mail out your kit. So I do also want to just tell you that sharing this video is the ultimate compliment. And I want to thank you for your business. You have a great day. And if you don't join me before Easter, which is in about a month away, then I do just want to wish you a very happy Easter. Thanks and goodbye.